Welcome back, guys, to the Coins and Connections podcast. This is your girl, Cinquanta Cox-Smith, and we are going to continue to explore all things books, business, and bullshit. Let's get into today's episode. Episode 16. Oh, y'all, it almost didn't happen. We almost didn't make it. It was a rough week. Listen, I can't. But thank you guys so much for continuing to tune in. And as I am recording this on Friday, I just don't even know what to say. So many things have happened this week already, like online, offline. And, I have a lot to talk about. And sometimes, I'm not sure if I want to talk about it. But, the Super Bowl happened. The murals of Cap went up around the city of Atlanta. 21 Savage got caught with ice. There was a Brooklyn prison without heat or lights. And, me, I was just minding my business. trying not to be bothered by these things that I cannot control. So, with that being said, here's something that I normally do. I will follow and unfollow people on social media all the time. And, when I feel like a negative energy towards someone who I don't know, I just have to unfollow them. So let me pause. Welcome, guys. Just welcome. Welcome back. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm just going to talk my shit real quick and then we're going to jump into today's episode. But, this whole thing about social media, it's a like touch and go subject. It's a hit or miss type of thing. And, we can unfollow and follow people in real life too, because when I see a type of energy from somebody in person, like, I decide quickly, maybe within the first 5 minutes, if I want that type of energy around me. And then, you act accordingly. Also, like when posts get on your nerve on social media and you find yourself sucking your teeth, like, oh my gosh, here she go again. Like, girl, unfollow them. Let them go. That is too easy. You are in control of your own life, your one and only life. You are in control of that, baby. And, stuff always going on, like every day. But, some of those topics, they do suck you on in. And you nosy and, you want to get in the scrolling trance on the shade room. Because that's my weakness. And, I got it bad tad but I can admit that, I be in a trance. And when I get into that trance, I'm going to say that's that bad spirit trance, that social media trance. And I will be responding to people who are in front of me with the wrong answers, like just getting mad because they just want my attention, but I want to keep scrolling. You've been there? I know y'all been there. And the other thing is I'm also a part of the imperfect ministry. And that's, people who misspell words and mispronounce words and have bad grammar on social media. And it's because we're a special type of people. And my special type of people will immediately know and understand because we are the ones whose brains move faster than their hands and mouth. We can't help it. But you knew what we were saying. You knew what we were talking about. Just pray for us or send help. Correct us with love and not pettiness. Please and thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all that this segment might be a little long. But I want to call attention to and talk about how we eat. And let me take a sip real quick. How we eat. So a lot of people have this same logic of, if it ain't feeding me or financing me, I can't put too much energy on it. And it's like you have stuff that's there and available and ready, and it still brings in income or money or the attention that it needs to, but it's just not a priority anymore. And it's because it's not feeding you. Like I said, it's not feeding you what's feeding you right now, because you can have something else that's really truly pouring into your bank account, and then you can have something that's trickling into your bank account. So that's what I mean when I say it's not a priority. And most entrepreneurs can't always do everything their audience wants them to do, because we have been doing this thing for a while, some of us, and we've had the ups and downs. We have the months we made no money. We have the months where we have lost money. And when you've been in this game for a little bit, you kind of understand how things work. Sometimes you can't grow too fast, and then sometimes you have no choice but to grow too fast. And then sometimes you want to take the slow and steady route, and that's okay, because doing everything that your audience wants can cause a burnout. So like, I truly enjoy doing hair, sewing, and writing books, but those things are not a bulk of my income. So I don't give it that much energy right now. Not saying that I completely quit. My website is still there. I still pay for my Designs by Smiley domain. If people want to get their hair done, they know how to reach me. And I'm constantly writing. It may not be a book, but I'm constantly writing. And I've been slowly, writing more, but I haven't finished anything to publish. And I don't want to rush it. And that's okay, because right now I have people discovering my old books every day. And that's amazing, because when I'm ready to publish something, that means that new audience and my old audience will be ready for whatever I have coming up. So another thing, I was burned out sending newsletters every week. Sometimes I try to do it every day. And what I decided on was just one newsletter at the end of the month to my list. And for me, that's enough, because the emails were something that I wanted to do and to always be able to talk to my audience, but it burned me out. Like, it was a struggle, like trying to live up to that Friday morning email or that everyday email at 10 o'clock. It was just, it's a lot of work, because I think I could type up what emotions and everything, or tell a story about a month versus every day. That takes a lot of energy and patience and planning. And a newsletter only keeps you connected to your audience, and it does bring in income. Certain newsletters, that I write do, but we can't be everything all the time. So I want to ask you, what are you giving too much attention to that isn't feeding you anymore? Think about that. Like, what are you giving too much attention to that isn't feeding you anymore? And listen, that can be anything. That could be that man, that could be that job, that could be that husband, that wife, that girlfriend, that boyfriend. Listen, baby, that could be that coworker. That could be that food that you eat. Listen, it could be just about anything. And then, we need to take some time and be like, okay, take a step back. But back to, what are you giving too much attention to that isn't feeding you? And also, let's talk about it from an entrepreneur aspect. Look, this isn't for someone who just started out, because you, my friend, you need to be hungry. You need to be hungry, ready, and trying all avenues and figure out what works best for you. And then later on, you can revisit this. And I'm going to say maybe a year or two, you will understand this a little bit more. But if you're no longer focusing on that thing a year from now, then you either have one or two problems. It wasn't for you to begin with, and you were just doing it because everybody else was doing it, or you weren't consistent enough to press through the hard time. So that's where you find out if you are truly made for this hustle life. You know, you got to be consistent, and it may not be the same thing, but to me, it's like something you got to keep pushing. If that one thing didn't work, okay, push on. You know, you got to weed through all the bad situations to get to the good one. So I get asked a lot, how did you start your podcast? Where do I begin? How can I start a podcast? Well, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. You know, I'm down with the free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Like, ain't nobody listening yet and you making money. How dope is that? It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So what are you waiting on? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So I'm not going to say I'm talking my shit today, but I'm talking my shit today. There are so many people who have achieved success by way of my help, your help, and that comes through, you know, advice as well, but we'll never know. I always say, you know, they thought we were good enough to take direction or advice from, but not good enough to acknowledge us. And I just want you to know that it's okay. It is okay. You don't need their validation. You don't need their validation. We're going to go forwards and backwards a little bit, but you know, that's just how I roll when I get into it. Remember, you don't have to be everything for everybody. And I said this earlier. And your time is yours to have and to do with it as you please. I love to help people. But sometimes when I feel my help is in vain or it brings me exhaustion, I shut down. And if you're a hustler, you're an entrepreneur, you know this goes back to the boundaries episode that we talked about. And when you getting all these text message and calls about, do you have a minute to chat or talk business or, you know, such and such, oh my gosh. You know, I truly feel that real, true business can be handled via email. So I do often tell people, email me. And I feel like if they take that extra step to email me, that they're serious. If they take that extra second to book a call, they're serious. But we're not just going to be sitting on the phone all day and I'm going to be pouring into you and, you know, I'm not being like, there's nothing happening for me. I'm pouring all my energy and I'm empty. Then I can't function. You know, I got 5 minutes maybe. But my link to book a call is available 24/7. Because I'm not available 24/7. I got a calendar and that's that. Also, by now, this is a personal experience. By now, everyone knows I wrote a book about how to write a book. So when you jump in my inbox and ask me how I got started, it's like a slap in the face. Like, you will get the same answer I give to everyone. Just start. Like, if you don't have a finished book, you can't do anything anyways. Like, you need a finished product to get to the next step. So when I tell you that writing a book is just that simple, you have to write it first. And when I say write it first, it doesn't have to be in chapters. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just throw it in a Word document. That's like the beginner stage. Every writer had a rough draft. Shoot, our life is a rough draft. We trying to get to that perfect copy. It's rough draft all day. We got to go back in and redo it all over again all the time. Like, I know y'all be thinking like, oh, dang, I wish I could redo this whole situation. You can when it comes up again. When that situation happens again, you can redo it. Just like once you finish your book with that rough draft, you can redo it until you get your perfect copy. But you truly need a finished product before you can get to the next step. And then I'll give them a link to my website or my book, because my entire website and social media tells you that I write a book. All of them. Every single last one of them. I don't know how many pictures I got of me with that dang on how to self-publish book. I just don't know. Like, I got a bunch. I got hella pictures. All my themes is blue and purple. You know where to find. You know what I do. So being asked, how did I start when I wrote a book to tell you how to start? I wrote a how-to book. And you asked me, how did I start? I wrote a how-to book. Ciao. Listen, y'all. Ooh, we gonna end this thing on some growth. And this might be quite funny because I'm probably talking to somebody out there like for real. So some of my old self came back, and I walked her ass right up on in the room and I said, fuck it up, sis. Like, do it. Do it, baby. Stick it, baby. Okay, just had a little city girls moment. But I said, fuck it up, sis. Do you. You know what to do. You know what it do, boo. Growth is so good that sometimes we grow so much and we let go of a few key traits that helped us block all the fuck shit that we were dealing with. Now, I'm not going to say we're dealing with now, because we let the good key traits go. The key traits, you know those key traits. And I always have to say to somebody, okay, they tested my savage. They don't want the old thoughts to come out. But I needed some of her in this thing called growth. I needed some of her. I needed Q money bags. I needed her. I needed her to come out. So when I called her, she answered. And now we're going to continue to move together. Just like that. Sis, come on. She got my back. So the lesson in this is, it is okay to reach back and grab some of the old you. And on that note, thank you guys so much for listening. Episode 16. Thank you for just being here. Thank you for coming in the room. Thank you for sharing, and just thank you. Thank you guys so much for listening and subscribing. Don't forget to share and leave a review for this podcast. If you have any questions, you can email me at hello@cinquantacoxsmith.com. You can follow me on Instagram at cinquantacoxsmith and at coinsandconnections.com. My websites are www.cinquantacoxsmith.com and www.coinsandconnections.com. You can join my Facebook group at Books Plus Business with Cinquanta Cox-Smith. I love you more than I love this podcast. Peace.